Hey friends, welcome to your reading. Today's tarot reading is all about answering the question, what is your hidden gift that unlocks your wealth? We're going to talk about your special talents. There is a hidden gift inside of you that holds the key to your wealth. We are going to uncover the special talent that's been quietly waiting to be activated, the one that can align you with your next level of abundance, purpose, and freedom. Now, if you are new to pick a card readings, here's how it works. The first thing that you're going to do here is you are going to pick the pile or the crystal or object that you are the most intuitively drawn to. So we have pile 1 here with an Ammonite fossil. This is like hundreds of millions of years old. We have pile 2 with Aragonite. We have pile 3 here with Apophyllite Chrysocolla, and then we have pile 4 here with a shark's tooth. Now you can choose one pile, you can choose more than one pile, or you can choose all of them. It is totally up to you, but when you're ready, go to the description of this video, find the timestamp that is linked to your pile, then you can skip ahead to your reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, and I will see you on the other side. Hey pile 1, hey friends, welcome to your reading. So let's talk about your hidden gift and your natural talent. Let's talk about what energy you naturally carry that is magnetic or powerful, even if you overlook it. So we have the 6 of Stones here. This talks about generosity, balance, spiritual stewardship, reciprocal energy, right? This sacred exchange. So pile 1, you were born with the gift of energetic generosity, the kind that doesn't just hand out resources, but actually uplifts others while protecting your own stability. You're someone who knows how to give from overflow, not obligation. And your wealth lies in knowing the true value of energy, time, and wisdom. This is not just about giving money, but it's about how you share your presence and your healing and your wisdom, or time in a way that really does build community. I feel like you create energetic equity wherever you go. So for example, maybe you are a tarot reader who offers free group readings every full moon, just because you want to, without even promoting it, and then people start to offer donations, and then your business grows because people trust your heart. Or maybe some of you here are stay-at-home moms who volunteer to teach emotional regulation skills in your community center. And maybe you don't think much of it, but maybe a therapist is somewhere in the crowd and she comes up to you after your session and says, hey, you're a natural. And you're later offered some sort of role in trauma-informed coaching. Like, you never know where your kindness and your heart is going to lead you. That's what I'm feeling here. Or maybe you're someone who is dealing with a chronic illness and you start a blog to share your recovery story. And maybe your honest, humble sharing turns into a paid newsletter. And that's all from giving without attachment, right? This one says, the mystic key to I am spiritually wealthy. So pile 1, you are naturally spiritual, sensitive, unconventional, transcendent, intuitive, introverted, illuminating, artistic, ingenious, intense, imaginative, innovative, revolutionary, rebellious, and mysterious. Ooh, so I feel like this could represent spiritual detachment, some past life wisdom, you having this karmic depth, right? And I also do feel like this is your soul being free, or like your soul being liberated. So pile 1, you have this gift for accessing deep ancient wisdom, even if you don't fully realize it. Key 2 is the south node of the moon in Vedic astrology, and it symbolizes what you've already mastered in previous lifetimes. So this shows a natural attunement to the mystical and the esoteric and everything that has to do with the unseen. So maybe you're somebody who naturally knows things, right, without logic. Or maybe you know how to see the truth behind illusions, right? I feel like some of you here, you could be drawn to solitude or dreams or spiritual teachings, but I feel like your wealth comes when you lead from the soul, not the ego, right? And I'm not saying like you're egotistical. I'm not saying that like we're talking about like the side of the ego that, you know, we typically see in movies. Like, you know, it's not arrogance. It's just that part of us that operates from a different space, right? And that part of us that is trying to keep us safe. So it's about challenging some of the thoughts that the ego brings up and being like, thank you for that feedback, but like, I'm good, right? So for example, maybe some of you here are an intuitive artist who creates abstract pieces that reflect emotional healing, and people cry when they receive your work, right? Like maybe you didn't study art formally, You just remember how to transmit energy. Maybe some of you here are someone who gives up climbing the corporate ladder and you start living by the moon cycles. Maybe you start to begin to teach others about lunar planning, and something that you thought was just for fun becomes your six-figure business. Maybe you're someone who always felt like a misfit in traditional education, and then you discover human design or astrology, and you begin giving readings, and you realize that your mysticism was your soul wealth all along. Now let's talk about how this gift unlocks your wealth. Let's talk about the unique way that this gift brings you abundance and prosperity and aligned opportunities. So we have the Eight of Vessels in reverse here. This is the Eight of Cups in reverse. This talks about return, rediscovery, emotional reintegration, maybe even this soul retrieval. So I feel like your wealth path isn't in always seeking something new. It's in honoring what you once walked away from. I feel like you're being called to return to a part of yourself or a passion or a dream that you thought was over. But I feel like there is this treasure buried in your emotional past. And when the Eight of Cups is in reverse here, I feel like it says your intuition is calling you back to the original version of yourself before the world told you who to be. So maybe some of you here are women who left the fashion industry due to burnout, but then you reconnect with your passion for styling, and this time you focus on sacred, body positive wardrobe curation for spiritual women. Maybe some of you here are someone who always loved writing as a teen, but then you left it behind to be more practical, right? And then you start journaling again. Maybe you begin to post poetic captions online, and I feel like this is what leads you to brand collaborations or a book deal. Maybe you're somebody who reconnects with their culture and then you start a business based on that ancestral herbal wisdom. Maybe your wealth comes not from inventing something new, but returning to what was always yours. Right? Like for example, if you have ancestors who were root workers or who practice hoodoo, and remember this is different than voodoo, but you know, this is a quick Google search. If you can look up the African American history with root work. Take a look at that if you're interested. But that reminds me of like Anastasia Moon, Stassi, over at Moonlight and Sage. She has a pretty big following on TikTok. She's here on YouTube as well. But she is somebody who is reconnecting with her culture, and she started a business that was based on her ancestral wisdom, right? And the things that were passed down to her and the things that she's learned on her own. And now she's got a beautiful brand. And she's helping so many different people. Like for example, and I'm not sponsored or anything like that, I just love her products down. Love them. But I use her spell oils. These are my favorite. They're just super easy to apply. I think they're made with like a really nice, I don't know if it's sweet almond carrier oil, but it's really nice. It absorbs into the skin. You don't feel oily after. And her oils just smell delicious and great. But each oil is handcrafted and spelled with different intentions, so like intention oils. So Master Key, this one is handcrafted and spelled to aid in unlocking all possibilities, doors, increasing spiritual abilities. And then like this Aphrodite's belt is handcrafted and spelled to aid in immense allure, otherworldly attraction, seduction over anyone, adding desire. So it just reminds me of like that kind of energy, like using ancestral wisdom or like the things that your ancestors or your grandparents or your family, your culture has taught you, and really helping others in beautiful ways and being rewarded for that too. But we also have the bud. This one says potential, promise, it's about to happen, keep going. So this represents this imminent breakthrough, your soul blooming, right? This can talk about timing. Pile 1, you are so much closer than you think. I feel like your gift is on the verge of blossoming, like a bud right before it opens. This is your reminder to not underestimate what feels small or quiet right now. Your hidden gift is already generating energetic momentum. So this is your reminder that your consistency and your commitment are about to pay off. Maybe some of you here are podcasters who keeps recording weekly episodes for an intimate audience of 100 listeners. And one day a guest episode goes viral because you stayed faithful to your voice and you were always ready for the influx, right? Maybe some of you here are energy healers who, once doubted your impact, but as you keep showing up, one client refers 10 more, and you realized that your sessions were the bud and you just needed to trust the unfurling of it all. Maybe some of you here are people who want to design a product for fun and you only sell 5 units, but then some sort of content creator discovers it and posts about it, creating this overnight demand, right? The idea just needed time to ripen, is what I'm feeling here. Now, let's talk about what is blocking this hidden gift or what is holding you back. Are there any sort of fears or patterns or programming or self-doubt that is stopping you from using it fully? We have judgment here. This one says Grand Canyon National Park. So this represents awakening, things like answering the call, things like evaluating yourself, right? Maybe even some past life themes. So I feel like you're undergoing this really big soul level awakening, but maybe you're hesitating to answer the call because of judgment from yourself or from other people. And very much like the Grand Canyon, you were shaped by time, by pressure, by divine erosion. Maybe you're still stuck in old self-concepts. Maybe some of you here have felt like the fear of being too much or not enough. Maybe some of you here have been over-identifying with your past mistakes. Maybe some of you here have family or cultural programming that says that your spiritual gifts aren't valid. So, for example, maybe some of you here are, women who want to lead breathwork cycles, but you keep hearing your conservative family's voice in your head, right? Like you don't feel qualified enough, but then your clients don't care about certificates. They care about how they feel in your presence, right? Or maybe you're an entrepreneur who downplays your intuitive gifts, right? Maybe you try to blend in with the more analytical coaches, right? I definitely have been there before. And really, maybe the moment that you own your intuitiveness and your gifts and your soul language and this mystical edge about you, that's when your ideal clients start to appear, right? Or maybe you're somebody who sees your past life mistakes or trials or tribulations as proof that you shouldn't try again. And maybe you think that it feels like a failure, but in truth, it's not. And those experiences were the sacred initiations that were preparing you to serve with humility, with wisdom, with whatever lessons came with what you've learned, right? We also have guardian angel. You are not alone. This is protection, pile 1. This is guidance. This is divine backup. So maybe some of you here are feeling like you're walking this path solo, but you're being surrounded by unseen support. The guardian angel card says that your guides are with you, especially when you feel unsure or afraid. This is the card that comes up when people are at a crossroads and they need to know that they are being held and watched over. So for example, maybe you are a spiritual coach who doubts that your next offer will sell, but in meditation, you hear your grandmother's voice encouraging you, right? And you go forward and you sell out your first retreat. Or maybe you're someone who's afraid of public speaking and you pray for help before your first workshop. And as you speak, you can feel your body relax as if somebody is guiding you, right? And you've never felt so supported. Maybe some of you here are a single parent who starts building your business late at night while your kids sleep. Maybe you feel exhausted until you pull this card and then you realize that you are never building alone, right? So let's get some insights from future you. Let's get a message of encouragement, empowerment, and any sort of action steps to take to bring in this wealth. We have the 9 of Blades. This one is the 9 of Swords. So we can talk about fear, overthinking, sleepless nights. You can talk about our shadow mind, right? So I feel like future you sees how your current worry is draining your creative life force, pile 1. And the fears that are keeping you up at night, they are so very valid, but they're not your truth, right? So this card is reminding you to witness your mind without becoming it. Wealth doesn't bloom from fear, right? It blooms from clarity and calm action. Maybe you're somebody who wants to launch your first offer, but you lie awake thinking, what if nobody buys? And future you says, I don't need everyone to say yes, just the ones that are meant for me, right? So maybe some of you here are creative people who keep delaying your online shop launch and you fear that it won't be perfect. And future you shows up again in a dream and whispers, done is better than perfect. Just begin. We also have moonbeams. This one says focus. So this represents things like concentration, clarity, following the light. Pile 1, your energy is sacred, and future you is saying, stop scattering it. Choose one focus and let it guide you like the moonlight through the trees. Sorry if you hear some chewing in the background, that's my dog. He's been a little anxious lately, so I've been trying to keep him chill, and he's like, I don't know if like any of you ever have had like dogs that have aged or like gotten older, but I feel like, I don't know, do you guys feel like sometimes when they age they like regress and they kind of start acting like a puppy again? I feel like this guy, like, he needs to be held. He's very rambunctious, he's testy. So anyway, he's here. So back to moonbeams. Focus, right? I'm like distracted. So I feel like this is reminding you that you don't need to do more, you just need to do what's aligned consistently. So for example, maybe some of you here again are like tarot readers and you keep jumping between platforms, right? But when you just commit to YouTube, right? Like for example, or when you just commit to TikTok, whatever it is, and you lean in fully, your channel takes off, right? Or your handle takes off. Maybe you're a multi-passionate soul and you launch 3 different offers all at once and they all fizzle, right? And you regroup and you focus on that one that truly excites you and it takes off, it blooms. Maybe some of you here are healers who build a content calendar and finally giving those gifts that structure, and with that focus comes momentum, and with that momentum, wealth starts to flow in. Let's also get some astro dice too. What else? What else do we need to know? Pile 1. Okay, so we have Uranus in the 12th house. Ooh. Okay, so with Uranus in the 12th house here, I feel like you are a subconscious revolutionary, right? In terms of what your hidden gift is. I feel like you get intuitive downloads, visions, flashes of insight that are ahead of your time. In terms of how this is going to unlock your wealth, you are meant to innovate behind the scenes, right? Through spiritual work or dream interpretation or channeling, or really helping others break free from old patterns. What's blocking you here? I feel like maybe the fear of being too weird or misunderstood, or suppressing your intuition out of habit or past rejection. So I feel like the activation message here is that your weird is your wealth. It's time for you to embrace your inner mystic, share your downloads. You know, you can do this anonymously or through a creative outlet in some way, right? There's tons of faceless channels. I have a faceless channel here. I used to, it's not that I don't want to show my face, I used to show more of my face, but I feel like, I don't know, things felt a lot more honed in and focused for me when I just kind of focused on the cards. And like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like with a face on the channel, you can get a little distracted by other things, or you attract like the wrong audience. So anyway, I'm not saying that like showing your face on your channel is wrong, but I'm advocating for those who maybe don't want to and they want to kind of stay behind the scenes. You can absolutely do it. You can absolutely earn wealth from that. So yes, thank you so much, friends. Remember that your hidden gift is more powerful than you know, and this is just the beginning. So like, share, and subscribe to stay in the flow with us here at Tidal Tarot. If you want to go deeper, check out my other readings on my channel page, Tidal Tarot. I have tons of pick a card readings on manifesting your best life, your dream career, your home, your money breakthroughs, and your next level self. If you are craving deeper conversations around purpose, healing, and freedom, come hang out with me on my podcast, the That's Deep podcast, for real talk on things like soul growth and how to create your own dream life. And if you're ready to bring some magic into your everyday life, visit my online crystal shop and you can get yourself some gems to support your journey. Everything is linked below. Thank you so much for being here. As always, it is such an honor to read for you, friends. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, Tidal fam. Lots of love. Hey, Pile 2. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. So let's talk about your hidden gift or natural talent. We'll talk about what energy you naturally carry that is magnetic or powerful, even if you overlook it. So we have the Devil in reverse here, and it says Carlsbad Caverns National Park. So this represents liberation, breaking chains, inner alchemy, facing shadows, and reclaiming your power. Pile 1, you have this rare, powerful gift, which is the ability to break free from unhealthy cycles, whether this is in your own life or by helping others escape theirs. Pile 1, you are a pattern breaker. I'm hearing shadow worker, someone who can descend into the depths and bring light to the things that other people are scared of. I feel like with the energy of Carlsbad Caverns, like the imagery here, this mirrors your power, right? You can go deep, you can splunk through the dark, and you can come out and emerge with truth and gold, right? You're somebody who is a liberator, a deprogrammer, and a light worker disguised as a realist, right? So, for example, maybe some of you here are trauma survivors who become somatic coaches who help others heal from generational patterns, right? And people trust you because you're well polished and because you've been in the trenches and you've climbed out. Maybe some of you here are someone who's once struggled with addiction and you become a creative mentor, right? And you help other people alchemize pain into purpose through things like poetry and art. Maybe some of you here were raised in a really restrictive belief system and now you use humor and storytelling to unpack taboo topics, right? Maybe you start a podcast or you create content that opens hearts and minds because you fearlessly go there. We also have the collaborator. This one says moon. I co-create to create. So pile 2, you are cooperative. Was I calling you pile 1 earlier? I'm sorry. But you are naturally cooperative, receptive, connective, supportive, curious, empathetic, responsible, insightful, accepting, inclusive, reliable, and co-creative. So this is your emotional intuition. This is this group alchemy, this magnetic flow, and the energy of receptivity. So pile 2, you are not meant to do things alone. You are very much gifted in co-creating, weaving magic with others through things like intuitive trust, empathy, emotional presence, and like the moon, you reflect and illuminate hidden brilliance in those around you, right? So you're the type of person who can feel the room, you can understand subtle dynamics, and you inspire people to bring out their best. So I feel like you thrive in shared vision and not this solo grind. So maybe some of you here are YouTubers who collaborate with other spiritual creators and suddenly your audience grows 3 times, and not through competition, but through co-creation. Or maybe some of you here are sensitive souls who once feared speaking up, right? And you start hosting monthly circles, right? Like monthly women's circles or monthly men's circles or monthly people circles. And your gift is that you can hold the space and let other people be seen, right? Which not everybody has felt that growing up is what I'm trying to say. I definitely know that I haven't, which is why I am so passionate about creating this channel and this space for us to have this safe container for us to be able to be ourselves and to speak on spiritual topics and to talk about how we're going to co-create our dream life and our goals. Because if you've been feeling that call, right, that call that you're meant for so much more, I want you to trust it, right? You have your desires and your feelings in your heart for a reason, right? They're divine guidance, they're divine inspiration. So yes, I'm also thinking like maybe some of you here could be like creative designers and maybe you'd be hired to help launch a startup, right? Not just for your resume, but because you can intuitively bring the team together and really build synergy. Next, let's talk about how your gift unlocks your wealth. Let's talk about the unique way that this gift brings abundance and prosperity and aligned opportunities. So we have the Page of Blades in reverse here. This is the Page of Swords in reverse. So this is information overload, scattered ideas, overthinking, having some self-doubt. So your wealth is going to flow to you when you stop overanalyzing and you start embodying. Your gift brings abundance when you release the need to figure it all out, right? Before you take action. I feel like you are an ideas person. Yes, but your power also comes from living and feeling the wisdom and not just studying it. So maybe the overactive inner student in you may slow you down with imposter syndrome or hesitation or perfectionism. So the key here to unlocking your gift is to get out of your head and into your practice. Maybe you are someone who has read every single book on abundance, but you don't trust yourself enough to charge for your energy healing. And when you finally host your event, it fills up because you stopped overthinking and you just started, right? Maybe some of you here are creators who keep researching camera gear and SEO tips, and one day you film this very raw, unfiltered video on your phone, and then it goes viral, right? So I feel like the clarity is going to come from doing and not planning with this card. We also have Holy Grail. This one says, stop the endless searching, inner quest. So this is you experiencing enoughness, right? Soul integration, things like spiritual fulfillment, really returning to the self, if you know what I mean. So pile 2, you are going to unlock wealth when you stop looking outside of yourself for the missing piece. You are the Grail. Your life isn't about finding treasure. It's about realizing that you already carry it. So this card is your reminder to stop chasing the next course, the next mentor, or validation, and to begin trusting your own voice. Maybe you're someone who finally stops tweaking your coaching offer and you just post about it with authenticity and it fills up. Not because you changed the product, but because you stopped thinking that you were missing something. Maybe some of you here are spiritual entrepreneurs and you stop bouncing between modalities and you integrate them into one powerful system, right? Your unique blueprint. And then your confidence becomes magnetic. Maybe some of you here are content creators who stop mimicking others and you start speaking from the heart, your unique perspective, right? Because messy is real here, and that is what people are waiting for. So let's talk about what is blocking it, what's holding you back, any sort of fears, patterns, programming, or self-doubt that's stopping you from using this gift fully. So we have the King of Sticks in reverse here. This is the King of Wands in reverse. So this can talk about fear of leadership, inconsistency, things like imposter syndrome, even like feeling this backlash, like this ego backlash. So with this, I feel like your soul wants to lead, pile 2. But your mind still might be whispering, who do you think you are, right? And the reversed King of Wands signals a powerful vision that's buried under this fear of being seen or being judged or failing. Maybe some of you here are swinging between over control and self-sabotage, and the key is not to get confident first, it's to lead anyway. So embodying your gift is going to create the confidence that you seek. Maybe some of you here are teachers with powerful insights, but you keep hiding behind quote posts. And maybe you're afraid to go live. But then one day you do go live and then somebody messages her, and then somebody messages you and says, hey, you just changed my life, right? Or maybe some of you here are multi-talented entrepreneurs who keep quitting projects halfway. Maybe you are fearing that they won't live up to the vision, but when you finally see them through, even imperfectly, people will respond with awe. We also have the High Priestess here, harness mystic power. So this represents intuition, sacred wisdom, this inner knowing, and spiritual authority. So this card is both a confirmation and a challenge, right? You have this very deep psychic, intuitive, or creative power, but maybe some of you here could be blocking it by either doubting your authority or trying to suppress your mystic nature in order to fit in, right? That is so much of my story here. My whole life I have been like suppressing that mystic nature just to be more, you know, logical, practical, because that is what some of the world, you know, accepts more. And it's just like, once you find the right lane, the right road, the right community, you start to realize that not everybody's a logical thinker. Not everybody's like, I mean, we can have a balance of both, but I'm just saying that like there are more people open to the spiritual stuff than you would think. With this card, it is claiming your High Priestess energy unapologetically. I feel like some of you here are meant to be a spiritual mentor who, you know, shares your intuitive downloads, right? And not hides them behind vague language. I feel like when you finally own it, pile 2, and you say, hey, like I'm a channel or whatever it is, right? Then your audience is going to expand because you aligned with your truth. Maybe some of you here are former therapists who blend tarot into your practice. And at first, maybe you're scared of what your colleagues will think, but then your clients love it and then they refer other people to you. Let's get some insights from your future self. Let's get a message of encouragement, empowerment, or what action to take to step into your wealth. We have the 7 of Vessels here. This is the 7 of Cups. So this talks about illusions, this analysis paralysis, right? In terms of like making decisions. It can talk about like fantasy versus focus, and it can also talk about divine dreaming. So future you says, hey, you have beautiful visions, pile 2. Now it's time for you to choose one, right? Your creativity is infinite, but scattering your focus keeps abundance at arm's length. Like not every idea must become a business, right? Like you see this scene here. It's like somebody's walking their dog, somebody's hang gliding, somebody's surfing, somebody's throwing a frisbee, somebody's building a sandcastle, right? There are so many options. You are being called to discern and follow what's most aligned now. So maybe you're a healer who wants to offer 12 different services, maybe things like Reiki, tarot, breathwork, astrology, and then you feel like you're burning out trying to juggle all of them. And when you narrow it down, maybe just to like Reiki and tarot, you thrive, right? Or whatever it is, pick the combination or pick whatever it is that you want, right? Maybe some of you here are an entrepreneur who journals out all of your dream ideas, and instead of chasing them all, you put 11 of them in a future vault and you focus on launching one. And that focus unlocks massive growth. We also have do nothing, void moon. So this represents sacred pause, divine rest, allowing things to gestate, and yeah, just the energy of allowing. Sorry about all the noise in the background. My dog is with us again. He has to like walk around and do like 10 laps before he sits down and relaxes. So future you is inviting you to stop forcing outcomes. The void moon, it appears when you're meant to rest, when you're meant to trust, when you're meant to wait for clarity. The void moon appears when you're meant to rest, when you're meant to trust, and when you're meant to wait for clarity. So this isn't an action, it's actually this active alignment. I feel like you've planted the seeds and it's time to stop digging them up, right? Sit in that sacred pause and allow answers to emerge. Maybe some of you here are intuitive coaches who feel pressure to launch, but everything feels off, right? And so you pull back, you rest, and you receive a download during a walk that you take in nature, and now your new path is born. Maybe some of you here are business owners who feel stuck and you start pushing out random content and nothing lands. And then you pause for a weekend and you meditate and you journal. Maybe you go to the beach, maybe you go for a swim, and then you reconnect to your why. And when you return, everything flows again. I apologize again for all the extra noise, pile 2. I have like that delicate balance where like the baby's sleeping, one person's up, like dad's up, but then like my dog wants to be in here with me, but he's like being chaotic. So it's interesting. I don't know if any of you here have felt like you have trouble with like commanding your space or like setting boundaries, like even with loved ones. I know this is something that I had to do, especially for my creative business, but just personally as well. I used to have like 2 dogs that would like demand to like be in my room and like be in my space and like make noise, and just like I remember like one, I don't know if it was like one reader or one like medium was saying like, you own the space. Like it's not about you like stressing out and having your dogs tear up your office while you're trying to have meetings. Like you own the space. They can be out, right? Or they can be trained to sit and listen or to like lay down, right? So I just wanted to bring that energy up. Now let's get more information for you, pile 2. Let's get more information on your hidden gift. So we got sun in the first house. Okay, so pile 2 with the sun in the first house here, I feel like your hidden gift is your magnetic presence, right? You naturally inspire, you naturally lead, and you naturally light up any space that you enter. I feel like in terms of how it unlocks your wealth, maybe this is you having this personal brand or this visibility or some sort of leadership role, right? You know how to attract abundance when you let yourself fully be seen. In terms of what's blocking you, maybe again, it's that fear of being too much or not wanting to outshine others. Maybe this is old people pleasing that is dimming your light. And the activation message here is shining unapologetically, right? Your confidence is going to be the key to your influence and your impact and your income. So thank you so much, pile 2. Remember that your hidden gift is much more powerful than you know, and this is just the beginning. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the flow with us here at Tidal Tarot. If you want to go deeper, check out my other readings on my channel page, Tidal Tarot. I have tons of pick a card readings on manifesting your best life, your dream career, your home, your money breakthroughs, and your next level self. If you are craving deeper conversations around purpose, healing, and freedom, come hang out with me on my podcast, the That's Deep Podcast, for real talk on soul growth and how to create your own dream life. If you are ready to bring some magic into your everyday life, visit my online shop for crystals and gems to support your journey. Everything is linked for you below. Thank you for being here. And as always, it is such an honor to read for you, friends. I will see you on the next video. Bye, Tidal Tribe. Lots of love. Hey, pile 3. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's talk about your hidden gift and your natural talent. We'll talk about what energy you naturally carry that is magnetic or powerful, and this is something that you might be even overlooking. So we have the 8 of Blades in reverse here. This is the 8 of Swords in reverse. So this can talk about mental liberation, right? Freeing your mind, having this perspective shift, rescuing yourself, having this breakthrough thinking. So I feel like your hidden gift is the ability to free yourself and others from limiting beliefs. You're the kind of person who may have once felt trapped by expectations or fear or other people's voices, but you've learned to cut through the noise and reclaim your inner authority. Even if you don't fully see it yet, you have the power to shine light into mental prisons, right? You know how to show others how to find inner freedom, and not by giving them answers, but by helping them question the ones that they've been given. So maybe some of you here are someone who has grown up with people-pleasing tendencies, and now you help other people spot toxic patterns in relationships. Maybe some of you here are teaching emotional boundaries, not from theory, but from lived experience. Maybe some of you here are like a former perfectionist who leaves your 9-to-5 job to build a soul-led business. And now you guide other creatives to let go of fear-based thinking and follow your inner compass. Maybe some of you here are tarot readers who notice that clients always feel stuck, right? And you begin to craft spreads that lead them to reframe their situation. And you don't hand that freedom to them, you help them discover it through your process. We also have the administrator here, Saturn. I walk with a foot in both earthly and spiritual worlds. Pile 3, I feel like you are naturally practical, grounded, persevering, wise, dedicated, strong, purposeful, leading, organized, structured, confident, strategic, assertive, disciplined, humanistic, and moral. So I feel like you hold this sacred gift of structure, right? Discipline, this spiritual embodiment, this mastery. You know how to anchor the ethereal into the material, and you know how to bridge the practical and the mystical, right? So like you're very much visionary, but you're also very grounded as well. People come to you because you know how to make the spiritual make sense, right? You know how to give form to feelings, and you're not just intuitive, but you're like devoted. So your spiritual insight is paired with things like integrity and patience and deep self-responsibility. Maybe you resist this at times, maybe it can feel boring, but your ability to walk in both worlds is a gift that many people can't hold. So maybe some of you here are healers who blend astrology with time management systems, and you help your clients plan their months by the moon, and your sessions bring soul and structure. Maybe some of you here are grounded channelers who help other empaths create boundaries or pricing systems and business foundations, right? So you're not just mystical, but you're stable, and that's your magic. Maybe you're a creative who learns how to ritualize your writing practice, and by building consistent time and space for it, you finish that book, or you show others that art can be sacred and scheduled. Next, let's talk about how this gift unlocks your wealth, right? Let's talk about the unique way that this gift brings in abundance or prosperity or aligned opportunities. We have the Hierophant in reverse here. So this says Redwood National State Park. Redwood National and State Park. So this is sacred rebellion. This is self-initiation. This is spiritual innovation, right? This inner authority. So wealth is going to come when you stop looking to external systems and you become your own spiritual authority. When we have the Hierophant in reverse here, it tells us that you are not here to fit inside dusty traditions or outdated models. Pile 3, you are a sacred disruptor. You are called to reinterpret ancient wisdom in a way that speaks to people today. So you don't have to play by the rules to be respected. You just have to trust the system that you're building. Like I remember when I first started my Pick a Card channel, I saw a lot of channels that focused on using the tarot, and like I wouldn't say in a darker way, but there was a darker aesthetic, right? It was like the typical like 90s goth, like, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. I love like goth energy as well, but I wanted to do it my way, right? I have a lot of like Venus in my chart, so there's a lot of this like Venusian, like I like pretty aesthetic things, and I have a lighter touch, and I consider myself more like, like Glinda, but like Glinda the Good Witch from like the original OG Wizard of Oz, not like the new one. Although we are here for Ariana. We love Ariana. Anyway, let me get back to what we were talking about. I just feel like you are meant to do things based on your own terms. So maybe some of you here are yoga teachers who ditches the studio scene and you start teaching trauma-informed classes in a non-traditional setting, online, right? In nature, in recovery centers, and maybe your classes sell out because they're real. Maybe some of you here are spiritual coaches who rewrite your offerings to reflect your cultural roots instead of what the mainstream wellness world expects. And the deeper that you honor your truth, the more that your clients multiply. Maybe you're a tarot reader and you create a shadow deck that combines astrology and psychology and storytelling because the old school spreads didn't resonate with her, right? And it becomes a cult favorite. Like I remember My first tarot deck was not the regular Rider-Waite Smith, and I know that's always people's recommendation because it's probably the most, like, they say it's the most easy to digest as a beginner, but they didn't have people that represented, like, people that looked like me, which is fine, but I would, you know, I think as somebody, especially like for people who grew up in like 80s and 90s, it's like without like I don't know if you grew up watching TV and like not seeing like a large representation of all cultures on TV, but I remember thinking like this would be cool, but I don't see anyone that looks like me and I feel a bit disconnected. So you got to do things your own way, do things in the way that feels right to you. You know the way that you learn best or that you thrive best. So yes. We also have the breathing rose. This one says heart healing, emotions, connection, and time eases. So this is healing, it's softness, it's emotional richness, and it's allowing. So I feel like your wealth is rooted in things like emotional depth and connection. This is the oracle card that shows you that when you allow your vulnerability and your tenderness and your softness to be a part of your work, you become a magnet for prosperity. So the breathing rose here reminds you that wealth is more than a strategy, it's relational. When people feel you, feel them, they trust you, right? They return, they refer, they pour into you. Maybe some of you here are business coaches who weave in grief healing after losing a loved one, and your vulnerability inspires other people to show up more human, and your offerings become more impactful and more profitable. Maybe some of you here are content creators who share about your heartbreak on social media, and it leads to thousands of new followers because you showed up with heart and your affiliate links and your brand deals flow in. Maybe some of you here are service-based entrepreneurs who create this very sacred client onboarding ritual that's rooted in heart connection, and people feel safe and seen and people keep coming back. Let's also talk about what's blocking it or what's holding you back, any sort of fears, patterns, programming, or self-doubt that is stopping you from using it fully. We have the Ace of Stones in reverse here. This is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This talks about having this fear of starting, missed opportunities, and having this lack of belief in your worthiness. So there's definitely this opportunity right in front of you, Pile 3, but you may be doubting your worth, questioning your timing, or feeling paralyzed by what ifs. So when the Ace of Pentacles is in reverse here, it reminds us that we don't have to wait for the perfect time, right? You just need to plant the seed. This can talk about like a fear of investment, you know, of time, of energy, of effort, but the soil is fertile here, Pile 3. So don't talk yourself out of a blessing. Maybe some of you here are coaches who keep hesitating to launch your signature offer. You feel like it's not ready yet, and then 6 months go by and someone else launches something that's near identical, right? Or maybe some of you here are creatives who delay pitching yourself for a dream collaboration, and when you finally do, they say yes, and they tell her, we've been watching you for months. That's definitely happened to me before. So I know how that feels. Just go do it. Just start, right? Maybe some of you here are intuitives who raise your rates, but you are scared that people will leave, right? And when you finally do, new aligned clients show up and the old ones say, well, it's about time, right? Maybe we also have Sage, be devoted and committed. So this represents focus, things like mastery, things like steady growth and spiritual discipline. So again, Pile 3, you are very wise. And this reminds us that having wisdom without commitment won't get you to the next level. This card reminds you that you don't need more ideas, you just need deeper devotion, right? It's time to go from seeker to sage, to stop dabbling and to start devoting, because Pile 3, your wealth is waiting in depth, not on the surface. So maybe some of you here are healers who finally commit to going live weekly, even when your viewership is low. And within 3 months, your audience triples. Maybe some of you here are spiritual teachers who stop chasing certifications and instead you devote yourself to mastering the knowledge that you already have. And your clarity becomes your magnetism. Let's get some insights from future you. Let's get a message of encouragement, empowerment, or what action to take to step into your wealth. So we have the Five of Blades in reverse here. This is the Five of Swords. So this can talk about release of conflict, right? Self-forgiveness, having this new mindset, and maybe even healing wounds around the ego. So your future self is reminding you that you don't need to win, right? You don't need to win at all costs. You just need to align and release the idea that success has to come through battle or strategy or proving yourself. This is you choosing peace over pride, right? Healing over hustle. This card often shows up after burnout or betrayal or mental spirals. So your future self wants you to make peace with the past, pile 3. Really soften your inner fight and move forward with clarity. So maybe some of you here are a coach, right? Who forgives yourself for a failed launch and you realize that it wasn't a failure, but it was redirection. And then you rebrand yourself with joy, not shame. Maybe some of you here are content creators who stop competing with others in your niche and instead you reach out to collaborate, and then your reach expands through genuine connection. We also have new moon beginnings. So this is renewal. This is your blank slate. This is potential, and this is inspired action. Your future self is saying that you are not late, pile 3. You are right on time. This is a sacred reset, and this new moon invites you to plant one clear seed and believe in its bloom. As I feel like after all the mental noise and the emotional healing and the block starts, you are ready, pile 3. You've outgrown your old chapter, and you've outgrown the old chapter. It's time for you to begin again with presence and hope and intention. Maybe some of you here are spiritual entrepreneurs who clear out your old offerings and you launch a new path that's based on this new evolved identity of yours. I feel like when you align, the abundance is going to follow. Maybe you're a writer who stops waiting for, when life slows down, and you begin your book now, right? 10 minutes a day, and a year later it's published. Let's roll some astro dice. Let's get some more information. Pile 3. We've got Venus in the 5th house. I love this. So with Venus in the 5th house here, pile 3, your hidden gift is your magnetic creativity and your charm. You radiate joy, romance, and this artistic flair. People are drawn to your self-expression, pile 3. In terms of how this unlocks wealth for you, this could be through art, through beauty, through entertainment, right? Children, maybe even passion-led ventures. Pile 3, when you create for fun, that's when your abundance is going to follow. So in terms of what's blocking you, maybe it's doubting your worth or thinking that pleasure and play can't be profitable. Your activation message here is that it's time for you to follow what lights you up, what makes you happy, what delights you, because your joy is going to be your genius and your income as well. So thank you so much, friends. Remember that your hidden gift is much more powerful than you know, and this is truly just the beginning for you. Like, share, and subscribe to stay in the flow with us here at Tidal Tarot. If you want to go deeper, check out my other readings on my channel page, Tidal Tarot. I have tons of pick-a-card readings on manifesting your best life, your dream career, home, money breakthroughs, and your next level self. So if you are craving deeper conversations around purpose, healing, and freedom, come hang out with me on my podcast, the That's Deep podcast, for real talks on soul growth and how to create your own dream life. And if you're ready to bring some magic into your everyday life, visit my online shop for crystals and gems to support your journey. Everything is linked below for you. Thanks for being here, friends. As always, it is such an honor to read for you. I will see you on the next video. Bye, Tidal fam. Lots of love. Hey, pile 4. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's talk about your hidden gift, your natural talent, what energy you naturally carry that is magnetic or powerful, even if you overlook it. So we have the Emperor in reverse here. This one says Yosemite National Park. So this represents unconventional leadership, things like soul-led structure, divine masculinity and healing, and rule breaking with heart. So pile 4, you carry the powerful and often overlooked gift of non-traditional leadership. You weren't born to follow blueprints, you were born to rewrite them. While others climb the mountain the normal way, right? There's no normal, it's all subjective. But when others climb the mountain the normal way, you are somebody who finds hidden paths, spirit-led shortcuts, right? Intuitive trails. And with the Yosemite imagery here, I feel like it mirrors this, right? This vast, wild, resilient, and ancient energy. I feel, it's crazy too. I was literally last night, just like tired, and just had a beautiful beach day with like my best friend and my kids. And I was just in bed, like just scrolling, and I was watching people hike the Half Dome at Yosemite, and I was like, oh my gosh. I feel like your magnetism comes from your ability to lead with soul and not ego, right? To protect and to provide, but to never dominate. Maybe some of you here are business owners who never felt like a boss, right? But then you find strength in collaborative leadership, right? Or you build a team based on things like empathy and honesty, and the company thrives because you lead from humanity and not hierarchy. Maybe some of you here are stay-at-home parents who run this passion project on the side, and maybe you don't even call it a business, right? But people keep showing up to follow you, and Your quiet strength is contagious. Maybe some of you here are artists who never wanted to be in the spotlight, but you create powerful movements through community building. And I feel like you're a leader by embodiment and not by declaration, right? We also have the King, Sun. I powerfully lead my mission. I love that. Pile 4, you are naturally regal, powerful, passionate, courageous, sovereign, responsible, benevolent, creative, innovative, decisive, directive, inspiring, visionary, and respected. This is purpose, pile 4, right? This is visibility. This represents your inner radiance and your divine self-expression. So your soul came here to lead, right? To shine, to activate. Maybe you doubt this at times, but the King card says that your hidden gift is the ability to illuminate others simply by living your truth, right? You don't just build movements, you become them. So you lead by fully being yourself, right? Unapologetically, bright, heart-led, and really being deeply committed to your mission. I feel like you have this natural solar energy about you that attracts prosperity and followers and divine opportunities when you just let it, right? Maybe you're someone who is afraid of being too much, and then you step into your boldness on YouTube and your visibility activates others and sponsors take notice. Maybe some of you here are creatives who are in the LGBTQIA+ community, and you are creative and you embrace your identity through fashion or through self-expression, and other people feel permission to be themselves too. Right? Maybe your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever platform you're on becomes your movement. It could also not even be on social media. Like maybe you're doing art, putting it up in a gallery, and it really helps other people to feel seen in some way. Maybe some of you here are intuitive guides who begin speaking on your lived experiences with grief and healing, and your vulnerability paired with your inner power becomes a beacon, and your mission finds your clients, right? Next, let's talk about how this gift unlocks your wealth. Let's talk about the unique way that this gift brings in abundance, prosperity, or aligned opportunities. We have the 2 of Sticks in reverse here. This is the 2 of Wands in reverse. So this can talk about delayed action, indecision, fear of expansion, and really playing it small. So pile 4, you may feel your leadership and potential, but maybe you're hesitating to fully claim it. Maybe you're looking at the door of expansion, but not quite walking through it yet. So your wealth is going to come when you stop waiting for permission or clarity or the perfect time, and just start building from where you are. Your gift is going to bring prosperity when you make bold moves, right? When you trust your vision and when you act despite any sort of uncertainty that comes up. So maybe you are a healer who dreams of launching an online membership, but you delay it for months. And the day that you finally do, 30 people sign up. And that hesitation was the only thing that was blocking your wealth. Maybe some of you here are artists who keep planning to go full-time, right? I don't want to say full-time because like that is also, I'm not trying to be like full-time like it's not a real thing, but like full-time is relative, right? It's subjective, depending on your situation. Full-time could mean working a couple hours and still making 6 figures to some people. So it all just depends. The possibilities and the opportunities are endless. But right, maybe you're an artist who keeps planning to go full-time, but then you get stuck in what if it doesn't work? And when you finally take the leap, you are booked out because the clarity only came through your commitment, right? We also have lineage of the rose. Moved by goddess, here for this, soul call, gather. This represents sacred service, pile 4. Divine timing, things like legacy, soul contracts. So you are not here by accident, pile 4, and neither is your gift. This is confirming that your wealth is tied to your soul mission and your ancestral lineage. You are meant to gather others. You are meant to create spaces, and you are meant to build communities or to revive sacred traditions through your unique leadership. You're not here to chase wealth, pile 4. You are here to channel it as a byproduct of living your divine purpose. So maybe some of you here are someone who wants to create this online gathering space for mothers to share spiritual wisdom. And it starts small, but then soon people across the globe join, and then they feel the purpose behind it. Maybe some of you here are people who revive sacred storytelling practices from your lineage, and you begin teaching this online. And your teachings attract grants and speaking invites and global students. Maybe some of you here are content creators who honor the divine feminine through poetry and imagery. And then your loyal audience forms, not because of flashy tactics, but because of your soul recognition. So let's talk about what's blocking it. Let's talk about what's holding you back, any sort of fears, patterns, programming, or self-doubt that's stopping you from using your gift fully. We have the King of Blades in reverse here. This is the King of Swords in reverse. This can talk about harsh self-talk, having rigid thinking, this fear of being misunderstood. So I wonder if your inner critic might be the loudest voice in the room right now. I wonder if your leadership is being blocked by things like overanalyzing or over-controlling or fearing judgment. Maybe some of you here believe that you need to have all the right answers to lead, but your soul already knows the truth. You don't need perfection, Pile 4. You need things like presence and trust in your heart-based intelligence. Maybe some of you here are coaches who write powerful posts, but then you delete them before publishing because you're afraid that they're going to sound too emotional or not logical enough, right? I feel like your voice is being silenced by some sort of inner doubt. Maybe some of you here are healers who try to prove your methods with data instead of trusting the intuitive results. And when you finally lead from intuition, people listen. We also have Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. So this talks about surrender, inner harmony, things like ego release, right? Having this heart first action. So this card echoes this reverse King of Swords too. It's time to release your grip on needing to be perfect, right, or always in control. Pile 4, your gift isn't diminished by your softness, it's activated by it. So when you let go of proving or over-explaining, you become a channel for true power. Maybe some of you here are spiritual entrepreneurs who stop trying to convince others of your worth and you just keep showing up in your truth. And then your business thrives when you release the need to win every debate. Maybe some of you here are leaders in a spiritual community and you step down from being the authority figure and you start co-leading. And the group grows stronger because you trusted collaboration over control. Let's get some insights from your future self, any sort of messages of encouragement, empowerment, and what action to take to step into your wealth. So we have the King of Stones in reverse here. This is the King of Pentacles in reverse. So this talks about fear of success, disconnection from values. It can talk about burnout, even like this external validation trap. So your future self is reminding you that you can be wildly successful without losing your soul. I feel like this warns you against defending your worth through money or control or achievement. Pile 4, you are meant to embody this very rooted, heart-led wealth, not chasing status or like burning out so that you can prove that you deserve it. You know what I mean? This is your permission slip to redefine what wealth looks like for you. Slow, aligned, fulfilling, ethical. Maybe some of you here are coaches who quickly scale, but then you burn out trying to maintain appearances. And then you pull back and you redesign your business to match your values and you find joy in consistent income. Maybe some of you here are spiritual teachers who stop chasing six-figure launches and you focus on deep transformation. And then your work becomes energetically rich and then the material success follows. We also have Moon Rising. This one says truth. This talks about soul authenticity, emotional alignment, right? This alignment of the moons here. I feel like this also represents intuitive awakening. So with this, your future self is urging you to return to your truth, Pile 4. Not the truth that other people expect. Not what you were taught to believe success must look like, right? You own your sacred knowing. And the more honest you are with yourself, the more magnetic you become to wealth, opportunities, and aligned souls. So this is really your time to rise, Pile 4, not as someone else, but as you. Maybe some of you here are artists who admit that you don't want to create trendy content anymore, and you return to your raw voice and your dream clients show up. Maybe some of you here are business owners who end a partnership that's out of alignment. And maybe you feel afraid at first, but then you feel instantly free once you leave, right? And from that clarity, your next level opportunity shows up for you. And you are pleasantly surprised and realize that miracles abound. So let's get some more information from our Astro Dice. What else does Pile 4 need to know? We have the moon in the 12th house. My moon is in my 12th house too. With the moon in the 12th house here, I feel like your hidden gift is this deep emotional intuition. You sense what other people feel, but hide. So you're definitely this natural healer of the unconscious. In terms of how this is going to unlock your wealth, I feel like your gift is going to unlock your wealth through spiritual work, dream analysis, energy healing, and really creating safe emotional spaces, right? So art, writing, therapy, divination, creation, right? Creativity. In terms of what's blocking you, I feel like this is like suppressing your emotions, maybe this fear of being overwhelmed or unseen. So your activation message here, Pile 4, is that your softness is sacred. It's time to trust your inner world because it really does hold the wisdom that other people will pay to receive. So thank you so much, friends. Remember that your hidden gift is more powerful than you know. This is just the beginning. Like, share, and subscribe to stay in the flow with us here at Tidal Tarot. If you want to go deeper, check out my other readings and my channel page, Tidal Tarot. I have tons of pick a card readings on manifesting your best life, your dream career, your home, your money breakthroughs, and your next level self. If you're craving deeper conversations around purpose, healing, and freedom, come hang out with me on my podcast, the That's Deep podcast, for some real talk on soul growth and how to create your own dream life. If you're ready to bring some magic into your everyday life, visit my online shop for crystals and gems to support your journey. Everything is linked below. Thank you so much for being here. As always, it is such an honor to read for you, friends. I will see you on the next video. Bye, Tidal fam. Lots of love.